Welcome friends and family. In this video, I'm gonna give you an introduction to the computer language named Prolog. So Prolog, the first time I encountered Prolog was when I was in the university, somewhere around 2016, 2017. I took a course. The name of the course was named Programming Languages. At that time, I wasn't feeling that good around that period of time, but I was able to manage and get the grasp of what it meant for Prolog. But then later, when I was starting to see when AI started coming out more often on the news and whatnot, I thought about Prolog, and now I'm trying to see if I can learn a little bit about it as well. I know I made some videos about Python, but I'm gonna continue making those too. But right now I wanted to give an introduction to Prolog, because I find it very useful for the field of AI and NPL. So Prolog was initially developed by in 1972, I believe. The first real the initial construction of the language, I believe. I think it was by someone named Alain, Colmerauer or something like that, in Marseille, in France, and his team. So Prolog was originally constructed for the needs of with the emphasis, actually not with the need, but with the emphasis of deductive reasoning using first order logic or logic. So logic is the foundation of this language. First order logic. Other languages like functional programming, functional programming uses functions, but this case is based on logic. First order logic is a logical language, and that makes it very useful for certain applications, and the ones that I'm interested in at this time, that I'm trying to see if I can start learning this Prolog thing. So Prolog, some of the Prolog uses include symbolic logic and NPL, natural language processing, artificial intelligence. Also, it can be used for databases. It's also used in education and research to analyze complex sets of data. Because the way Prolog works is that you have rules, and those rules are constructed based on the facts that you give to your program. For example, in the example that I'm gonna give you in this video, which is gonna be basically my first Prolog program, because back in 2000 and when I was in university, I did a program, but I wasn't too sure how to build it. I was kind of Due to time constraints and other issues, I wasn't able to do it as best as I could. But the way that I'm gonna explain Prolog, give you an example, is a classical example that I actually use, that actually was presented in that class back in 2016, 17, 16, I think. Okay, so we all a lot of people like to talk about ancestry, people's ancestry, who your parents are, who your grandparents are, and great grandparents and stuff like that, and who's your family members, cousins, brothers, sisters. You can use Prolog, and you can define rules to find those answers for you. So basically, you can construct what is called a knowledge deduction system. So you give rules and then you give your facts, and based on those facts, Prolog, when you compile your Prolog program, you will receive your answers in text. I don't know how, to be honest with you, I don't know how. I know there are a lot of applications and advancements in Prolog, but the way that I was presented using text is just very useful. And you can probably expand this by creating interfaces, I believe, and other visual methods. But the way that I'm going to present and I'm going to start learning this is using just textual base, which is what this Prolog language is good for. So when you want to find, let's say you have complex data, you have a lot of data, you can create a knowledge system, and you can deduct answers from it that you want based on those facts. And the way you do it is by creating rules for those facts. So once you basically what we call encode this knowledge into your Prolog knowledge system, then you should be able to get your answers in a very human-like approach. And that all depends on the way you define your your variables and rules, the naming conventions that you use for your knowledge system. But again, I believe you can create interfaces to avoid this type of textual things. But to introduce it, I will use text. That's the way that I was taught at the beginning, and that's the way that I currently know right now. So to me, this is an experiment to see to show you and show myself how the potential of this language. So it's been about 50 years since this language was created. So more than 50 years. 1972. About a little more than 50 years. Okay. So let's get started. Let me see if I can construct a basic program with a rule and some facts. And the way that I'm gonna do it is by using a few things about my family. Okay. So let's get into the programming. I'm gonna record my programming right now. So right now, today is November 4th, 2024. So let's see if we can record this. Okay, so let's go to the next step. I have everything set up, so I'm just going to switch. Okay, thank you. And I type Prolog compiler. Okay. So, and then sometimes you can find Prolog's compilers online, but if you want to save it on your computer, I use, this is the way that I was taught back in the day. So if you go to this website, swi-prolog.org, you're gonna see this website, and then if you want to get your version, you go to here, you go to download, and then you go to SWI Prolog, and then if you want for Windows, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on daily builds, and I click on the latest one. That is, in my case, I'm gonna use the 64-bit, so I download it and I install it with all the, you don't need much stuff from there. You need you don't need to change too many stuff, just do the defaults. Okay, once you install it, you open it, and then if you want to create like your program, so you do file, and then you do new, and then it's going to take you to one that looks like this. Then you save it. And what you're gonna find is that you have here and then your rule. So once again, this is your program, and here is your prompt. Here's where you're gonna ask your questions. You're gonna ask your question to your about your facts. Okay, so the first thing is I created a rule, and the rule says that is parent of, that means that is if it says that he says that this here is gonna return the parent of x, and who's the parent of x is you're gonna be determined by the facts that are below it. So first you put your rules, then you put your facts. Okay, so the way you do your rule is that you give it a name, then in parentheses you put your variable that so x represents the name you're gonna be looking for, the name of the child whose parent. So you're looking for let's say your child name is Virgilio, my name. So Virgilio goes here, and then who's the parent of Virgilio? Then the rule says. The way you do the rule is by putting colon, then dash, and then you said child, because child are my facts here. Child of x, which is in this case gonna be Virgilio, and based on those facts, I'm gonna determine the parent of x. So basically, I'm relating my facts to the rule, to the rule that I'm creating. In this case, I'm trying to find the parent of a child. So now the facts are done as follows. You have a name, then constants are in lowercase. So for example, Virgilio, I'm the child. My father's name was Virgilio. So who's the parent of Virgilio? Is gonna be Virgilio, because that's the same name of my father. My brother, for example, Napoleon. Who's the parent of Napoleon? Virgilio. That's my father. And my sister Rosa. Who's the parent of Rosa? It's gonna be Virgilio again. But now I'm gonna, so to enhance this example, I'm gonna create more facts. So who's the child? Okay, so who's, for example, Napoleon. My mother's name is Christina. So who's the mother of Napoleon? In this case, we're not talking about specific. We're just talking about parents. So Napoleon is gonna be Christina again. That's the name of my brother, our mother. Okay, and the same thing for my sister Rosa. So how many facts I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to define my nuclear family, in other words, my brothers and my parents, my father and mother, I define it using 6 facts, and this can extend to many facts. Okay, so then what you do is once you have this set up here. Okay, so X is when you have a capital, beginning capital, those are variables. Okay, and this is the name of the rule. Okay, so what you do is you make it, and then it's asking you for you to save it. Then you say okay. It says first compile, and then then you compile buffer. Okay, so if you look at the bottom, it says compile. That means that there were no errors. Okay, so now if let's say okay, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna get out of here, right? I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, let's see if it's already loaded into the okay, so let's see, is parent so now I'm gonna ask, so the way you ask the compiler, so basically here the prompt, you say every prompt begins with this question mark dash, and then you ask your question to the system. Okay, so I'm gonna edit just to make sure. Okay, so this is what I wrote last time. Then I'm gonna make it. Okay, make done. Okay, let's see if it's loaded now. Okay, so now so using the same rule, which says that is parent of. So I want to know who my parents are. In my case, my name is Virgilio, so I'm gonna type Virgilio, and then I'm gonna load my answers into a variable called parent, PR, and then I'm gonna put at the to end my statement, I'm gonna put a period. Unknown procedure, that means that I have to compile my program. Compile it. Okay, it says compile, so it's compiled. Now I'm going to load it. Okay, so now now I'm gonna ask again. So what I did is I pressed the up key, and I got the same statement as before, so now it should work. So who's my parent? It says it here, my parent is Virgilio, and that is correct because look, Virgilio is my name, my parent is Virgilio. But let's see, if I want to ask the system if there is more. My facts have another parent. In other words, my mother. What I do is I press the semicolon, and guess what? It tells me parent. So I have two parents, Virgilio and Cristina, and that is correct because look, Virgilio and Cristina. Now I want just to show the same example, I want to know who's the parent of Rosa. It should be Virgilio and Cristina again. So let's see. Okay, the first one, Virgilio, correct. I put semicolon, Cristina. That is correct. And the same thing it should be for my brother, Napoleon. Napoleon should have two parents as well. Virgilio, and then put semicolon, Cristina. So that tells me, so that shows you that we can create a knowledge system. In this case, it's like an ancestry system. So you relay data, you relay facts based on your rules. So I hope you like it, and I hope to keep making more videos about everything that I do. And your support is well appreciated. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.